Well, this is a interesting story, uh, and symbolically, it's a couple different ways to look at it. So I'll kind of start where the hottest coal is. I would try to, enliven the fire here. There's a gentleman, he's missing, and he's endangered. His name is Ralph Davis Brown. He's age 76, white male, 5'10", 210 pounds, white hair, blue eyes, may have trouble finding his way home. Last seen in Cornelius on 516 at 6:30. Possibly spotted in Newburgh on 517. Describes the car, dark blue 2014 Nissan Sentra, Oregon plate, called Washington County Sheriff. Okay, so I'm in Peru, and I get an email from a friend of mine, Mark Akers, and Mark knows that I work on missing people, so he asked me by email to see if I could I think he said to channel this guy, Ralph Davis Brown, which is not really the correct terminology, but his intentions are good. So I worked with Daisy, and right away, I think within hours, located where that he was deceased and where he was and where the car was, and sent back a copy of the X marks the spot on the topo map. So, and then I sent it back to him. So we documented this, and he communicated with the news. And then I spoke to the daughter, I think, or the granddaughter, and I also spoke to a gentleman who was like a businessman in the area who was helping try to find Ralph. Ralph, he's a poor guy, and he was a good guy. So, okay, well, I documented all that. Well, a year later, they're searching the area, and who did they find? Ralph Davis Brown in his car, underwater, about 5 miles from where I X marks the spot. Okay, so when I'm X marking the spot, first I start off with the west coast of the United States, and then I just get closer and closer. So that was the best I could get with the topographical map. So that's pretty damn close. So, and he was deceased. All right. So we documented all that. Now, simultaneously at the same time, I think it was before Ralph. No, Ralph was first, I think. I think Ralph was first. Mark had contacted me in getting in touch with a third friend of ours named Joe Mazzola. We went to Catholic schools together, so we're trying to find him. And so I hadn't really communicated with him since, when I was 10, what the hell, 1970. So he just knew me through the internet and had been an altar boy with me. We both went to the Catholic school together. His name was Akers. And so there was 50 kids in the classroom. So it was 5 rows of 10 kids. So it was always Akers, Bajazy, Bartlett, Bell. So he and I were the two shortest guys, right? Just happened to be. And so in altar boy land, we're the matching set. So we just would get booked, to watch the rectory, or do mass, or there's a sudden wedding, or a funeral, or whatever the hell it is, and you need altar boys that match. So we did a lot of that, and we both went to the same high school, the same elementary school. So I knew him really well. Then you could drift apart where don't remember the guy, remember his name and him in it when he was 9. But since then it's like not much. And the last time I saw him, we were in graduate school. And I don't know where he was. I don't know what he was taking. So then he sends me this notice, find this guy. So I go, okay. So I asked Daisy, please show me where to do it. She first I ask, is he alive or dead? She says he's deceased. I go, okay, so it's not a burning emergency, right? Next thing, can we find him? Yeah. So I get out the west coast of the United States. I'm assuming he's in California or Washington, but you never know. Oregon, I don't know, somewhere on the west coast. So I started with the west coast map, and they go to the same spot, right, where I located him. So then I work at bigger maps, and then I'm doing just Oregon maps, and then I'm just doing the location right. So the less I know, the better. Okay. So I'm not looking at any other information. I don't want anybody else's information. I just want his name and just have Daisy trying to help me with this. So I send the map with the topo map with the X, and you can see the date there. And then nothing happens. They don't find him. Meanwhile, the river's pushing this car underwater, and it's a good sized river. And a year later, they do find him. So I'm like, cool, we found him. I'm like, cool, we found him, So I sent him a letter or email, and they sent me back a really rude email. Like, if we had a nickel for every guy that does this kind of stuff, you're bothering us, and get out of the way. And, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, that's weird. I'm showing him on the map. Where is it? A year later, they locate him in a boat. Huh. So then the guy says, well, why don't you go look for these guys? So then he gives me 3 names, right? So one's hiding. He doesn't want to be bothered. The other one's, he's gone. And the other one, he's just over the border in Mexico. So I douse him out. It takes a big, long time to douse the dude out, where he is in a warehouse and what he's wearing and all this other stuff. So that I send it back to the guy. The guy gives me hell. He goes, well, that's out of our jurisdiction. What are you talking about? And I'm like, what the hell? Now, at the exact same time this is kind of going on, it's kind of weird, because when this stuff occurs, the state isn't supportive of it. You know what I mean? Jelly bean. Now, Mark Akers, he and I hung out all the time. We're the same height. We were the same age. He's probably the same age. Well, he's passed on now, but I'm 76 on my next birthday. This guy Ralph's probably about the same age. So, I don't know. We were all resonating on the same level. And then he got diagnosed with the COVID thingy. In the 9 days you go bye-bye. So that's what happened to him, man. He just was gone. Now, when he first contacted me about Joe Mazzola, I sent him to the website, and then we were talking about spiritual stuff. And I told him that in general, there's general rules, and the general rule is the more loving you are in your lifetime, the closer you pass to your birthday. That's not 100% of the time, but most of the time. And he got diagnosed with this, bioweapon. And then he died just on his birthday or right close to it. So what a fucking bummer. Anyway, so Mark documented this, and you see the emails there and the dates. But just to share, Mark was a very special guy. Mark Akers. And I'm sure Ralph Davis Brown was a hell of a special guy too. Okay. So just know that the more loving you are, frequently the more difficult your life is. And treat yourself in a loving fashion. Okay, you know your loved ones are always in my prayers. Samuel Joseph Bell.